Hello, my name is Alexander Red of the Gracious Hope podcast, and we are here today to reflect on the legacy of a veteran Liberian journalist, Philip N. Wesseh. Now, the name Philip Wesseh is etched in the psyche of not only the young generation of Liberian journalists, but also the older generation of veteran Liberian journalists. Philip was unique in his responsibility to serve as a journalist over decades in our homeland, Liberia. Now, why is it that he's passing away uh, so shocking to many? Family members, relatives, professional colleagues, and friends? And that is a very good question because he has impacted the lives of many people. And so today, Gracious Hope Podcast brings you a sober reflection on the legacy of interning Philip N. Wesseh, an iconic journalist who left this world on Wednesday, September 14, 2022 at the JFK Memorial Hospital in Monrovia, Liberia. Now, in the studio today, I have a professional colleague. He's a veteran journalist and also an author, and he will be giving his reflection on the late journalist Philip N. Wesseh. We also have in the studio the co-host of this program, Reverend Suarez Dede. Reverend Dede, Mr. Gabriel Williams is an author and he's a veteran journalist. He's been in the print media for years, and he has a vast experience. And he is one of those who knows a lot about the inner workings of the media as well as the fallen colleague, Philip M. Wesseh.
Yes, certainly. And besides that, he's also a teacher. And I must say today, for those who don't know Gabriel Williams, he's a sincere and a steady hand in the profession, and somebody who I've come to know. At least you might not know that, but I'm going to just give you this news today. My first class in journalism, information ministry, was taught by Gabriel Williams and Joseph Ted, and so I cannot forget these two men in my professional beginning. I just left high school and I was employed information ministry, and this young man came in unassuming and I said small in the body, and I said, what am I going to get today? And what I got today, at least, helped to bring me to where I am today when it comes to the journalistic profession, and then as a pastor, because journalism covers a whole lot. Your background journalism can prepare you in other areas in life. And so I want to just thank God for him for, he didn't know that. Maybe this is the first time hearing that today. He doesn't know that, but I want to give him his flower while he's still alive. But we're not talking about Gabriel today anyway. Gabriel has come to join us to discuss PN debut of Philip Wesseh, who we've all interacted with. We learned his own way of dealing with people. He was just a humble, respectful, honest and sincere gentleman. He would tell you what he feels about what is going on. He did not mince words, but he would say in a way that you would not be offended. That was Philip. He has a style of dealing with issues professionally, personally, and the rest of that. So we are glad to have one of my own mentor, Gabriel Williams, today to join us to discuss this. I won't go for our friend Alex. I almost said Government, not Alex. PN debut. So let's do this. I'm sure we're going to hear a lot of things from Gabriel today. He worked with Philip in the beginning of the Inquirer. He's the board chairman, I hope I'm not mistaken, of the Inquirer. So we are glad to have my teacher, my professional colleague, himself, president and secretary general. And then when things was tough, he was firm, advocacy, press freedom, human rights. So I'm glad to have Gabriel Williams here today, Ellis. So let's do this and hear from our brother.
Yes, and we are so glad now to bring on Mr. Gabriel Williams. Gabriel Williams is an author, and also he's a veteran Liberian journalist. I'd like to say welcome to the Gracious Hope podcast, Mr. Williams. Yes, and so glad to bring on. I think, can you hear us?
I think it's a delayed.
You You are
Thank you
live.
very much, my dear brothers. The reception is kind of static. I'm not sure if you see me uh,
Yeah, we can
because
see
I
you.
am not on the screen yet. Yes, okay, now I can now. Okay, yes. I just wanted to say thank you so much for the very warm words that have been expressed. And it just take me back to the time, the great political icon, Marcus Matthew, when he passed. At the time, I was at the Ministry of Information, either as assistant minister or deputy minister. And during that time, there was a week-long nationwide celebration of the life of this fallen giant. At the end of it, Dr. Sawyer, Dr. Sawyer made a comment. He came up with the story of the hunchback person. He said when the hunchback person dies in a village and that person is being buried, other hunchback people go there, to see how a hunchback person is buried, so that they are assured that when they are buried, how much they will look. So the sentiments that are being expressed in the wake of our brother's passing, basically, is an indication that yes, as much as our professions, you don't have all the work, you don't have all the material things, but it is very fulfilling. When you work well and you work to the satisfaction of the people, as our brother has done, definitely, you see a lot of, sentiments of, regrets and outpouring of condolences we have been seeing. And it reminds me of, the saying of a Greek philosopher, who once said that no man should consider himself truly happy until he is dead. So long meant that it is at the post of a person's life. It is that time when the verdict comes in. When people try to look at the person's life, how well did the person live? Did they live well to the service of humanity? Did they work against the common interest? You see what I'm talking about? So today we're talking about Wesseh passing. And basically it brings me back. Philip and myself will come a long way from our space at high school. Philip was a year ahead of me. He was my senior and I was his junior. When I was in the 10th grade, Philip was in the 11th grade at Detroit High School. And I started off as a reporter for my class, the 10th grade class. We had 3 10th grade classes. I was the editor of one of them and a reporter of one of them. And Philip was news editor of the news press club, of the school's press club. And I was the assistant editor to him. And when he became editor-in-chief, eventually as senior senior in his 12th grade, I was assistant editor. When he left, I took over. So that relationship continues. When he left Detroit, Philip was a very brilliant student. He was the dukes of his class, the 1981 class of Detroit High School. Philip was the dukes. But imagine, as good as he was not able to go to the University of Liberia. He couldn't get a job because, as you know, the conditions those days in New Cruton. If you were in New Cruton and you didn't have opportunities, you were just there. And beyond high school, if you were lucky, that's why it was. Until I graduated, and then I got a scholarship to go to Ghana to study at the Ghana Institute of Journalism. And my school principal at the time contacted Mr. Best to have me do my 6-month intern at the Daily Observer. While I was there, crisis developed in Ghana. Ghana Institute of Journalism got closed. I couldn't go again, but Mr. Best hired me. And he asked me to find another reporter from the press club in Detroit, who he could employ to become a correspondent in New Cruton, because I had performed so well. And Mr. Best was very impressed. This is how I brought Philip Wesseh in. Philip came as a correspondent for New Cruton at the Daily Observer. In no time, Philip was nailing one headline after another in the Daily Observer. And he became one of the best reporters we had, to the point that Mr. Best and the Observer management had to pass over a few other senior reporters, including myself, to appoint Philip news editor of the Daily Observer. So I'll stop there if you have further questions.
All right. Yes.
I think you just continue, Ellie. The story is interesting. Just go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Continue. I mean, I know he worked there with you, the main editor. And then what were some of the interactions with him and other reporters?
Yeah.
At the Observer?
Yes. Like I said, in my Mobu came as a correspondent for New Town. And before that, he was one of the best reporters in the newsroom. I was one of the senior news reporters at that time. And he was elevated over me and other senior reporters. And I will share with you that when Philip got appointed, it didn't go down well with a section of the newsroom, because there were a lot of senior reporters like myself who got passed over. There were people who came to me, Gabriel, well, you brought this guy here, now you got to be, and you've been his senior, now you got to be his boss. In fact, one of our colleagues actually openly resisted. He said that he was not going to report to Philip. He would not allow Philip to touch his story. And there was one back and forth. People came to me and tried to put me in that same shoe. But you know what? My parents always told me that what is for you is for you. You will never have to fight for anything. Whatever opportunity you have, wherever you go, do your best. Be humble. Work hard. Water will seek its level. You see, when you waste water, it goes to where it's supposed to go. And as much as you work hard, those are opportunities that will be open. You don't have to fight anybody. When people thought that, I would have joined the disgruntled group. I went to Philip Wesseh, shook his hand in the presence of everybody. I gave him a bear hug. I told him, congratulations. I will work with you, and I'm here to report to you. And I'm telling you, from that time up to the point I left the Daily Observer and the war came, Philip and I worked together. There was no problem. And here is fast forward. When the Inquirer started, and the Observer, the war came, the Observer had been blown up. Mr. Best, and his family had been forced to flee the country, everything destroyed. And then with the peacekeeping force coming, ECOMO coming in, and that semblance of peace, and that there was completely torchlight with Mr. Dapo, tried. But with Mr. Johnson, Prince Johnson, continuing arrest and intimidation, and other things, a group of us decided to get together to form an independent newspaper. Tim Mastia actually led that effort. I have been this thing happened just a couple of months when I almost got killed, right on Benson Street near the cinema there, near right behind AGM school, when a group of rebels had captured me, and they identified me as a journalist, as a reporter of the Daily Observer, and a leader of the press union, and they wanted to execute me. I had survived it, and I was traumatized. So when the police gathered, with T-Max being our leader, because T-Max taught all of us, when we all went there at the Daily Observer as young men, T-Max was a news editor. So among the group, when we gathered to form this Inquirer, T-Max got up among the group and said, I picked Gabriel Williams among all of us here to lead this paper, even though I trained him. But he has certain leadership qualities that if I accede to him, for him to run this paper, it's going to survive. You know what I told him? I said, he got to be joking. I'm telling you, it was one back and forth. I just couldn't understand why he would leave, and he wanted to put me in such a situation. Here, I almost lost my life a few months ago. I'm just trying to come out, and then you're trying to say we must form independent newspaper. I must be there. We ain't got no money. We ain't got no office. We ain't got no news. Where are we going to print? So I said, my man, no, you can't do this. We went back and forth, and Tim, I said, look, you got to take this responsibility. Eventually, the rest of the guys, they got together and say, my man, you got to do it. And guess what? Philip was one of the first partners together. Philip said, I endorse Gabriel Williams. and I was supporting. Guess what? When I was appointed news editor, he reminded everybody. No, I didn't even think about it. When I was news editor, you guys remember? There was resistance to my editorship. And everybody thought Gabriel was like journalist because he brought me. He said, but Gabriel helped me. So he worked with me. And so I was supporting him every day. And I'm telling you, gentlemen, that trust built. You can hear my voice quiver. Until when I faced death threat at the paper, and I was forced to flee, I left Philip in charge. And he carried on up to the point of his demise. Every time I was in Liberia, I would go to that paper, we have meetings, and Philip and myself would go over some of these stories, especially to let the young people know that you don't have to fight one another. If it is somebody's time, even if you feel that you get pushed aside, support them. And that level of trust prevailed up to this point. So, gentlemen, Philip has, and I also want to use this opportunity to recognize Mr. Benz, gentlemen, think about it. Here, us, think about the time school at Detroit High School that were not regarded as important. Graduates from those schools, you're wasting your time. But Mr. Best saw us, and here we are today. What if this man had not given us the opportunity? Look at Philip. He was the top of his class. He was the deuce of that year. But he couldn't go to school. He didn't have any opportunity for school or work. And he was laboring in New Town in that dust up and down. Until when God opened my way and I brought him in, Philip Wesseh became a lawyer. He was teaching at the university. He was just, his impact is so profound to the extent that we are seeing it today. That's why I started with Dr. Sawyer's, parable about the hunchback, man. So gentlemen, his legacy will continue. He was the newsroom Inquirer wherever will never ever be the scene where Philip used to be. Because I'm telling you, if you were in the newsroom with that man, they joke. And guess what? Who was one of the butt of his joke? He used to roast me left and right. I used to take it, and we would all just laugh. Phil would make you laugh so much until you would roll out of your seat. He would call the number one civil rights boxer man. He said, "Yo, look at me, Gabriel R.H. Williams." You see how the boxer people, their civil rights need business. And then when he take it over and start beating on everything, everybody would just laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. He was that kind of way. And so the newsroom was just always laughing. It was insane.
Wow, that was a wonderful time to reflect on. Now, if you had seen him in his last days, ready to pass away, what you would have said to him?
Well, I said everything I needed to say to him, basically. I said everything I should have said to him, basically, because up to the time, days before his passing, we were in red contact. From the time he got ill, from that process to the time he was in Ghana, from Ghana to Liberia, we were in close contact with him. And I'm glad that we as an entity, the Inquirer, we move as a team. I will share with you that even at the time Philip was lapsing in and out of coma at JFK, and it was concluded that he had to be taken to Ghana and we needed someone acting his stead, I told my person, Roger Seaton, who is my designee, to directly liaise with the interim leadership that will have him, for Philip to tell us who he wants to leave in place. So be up from the point, from the hospital to the airport for him to be airlifted. We were able to get a lot of information. And between his wife, and his wife is here, we have closely coordinated. I will contact Monrovia, the acting managing editor, who is there, and she will make arrangements. They will go to his house. They will put the phone on, talk. Down to his birthday, we interacted just to encourage him, talk to him every now and then. So we have been closely involved in his affairs. I can share one other personal story with you. Just last weekend, I was discussing with somebody for us to see how we could find a nurse who will be stationed at his house on a regular basis, given this condition. And somebody has said we could, maybe something like that could have cost like, $50, $75. One of those good women there who got some little background who will stay at his house because he there with his children, and the children have to go out. There have been instances where, someone in that kind of condition, I don't have to go through all the things happen. I was just having consultation to send instructions to Monrovia regarding this matter when on Wednesday morning, early when I woke up, when I opened my phone, I called his wife, and the rest is history. Right now in Monrovia, Mr. Best has been crying. This woman has been crying so much. I am not able to call him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great loss, Reverend Dede.
Indeed, it's a great loss. We're all going to miss Felix. But I'm just thinking, Gabriel, was there any time, friends will have differences, friends will agree to disagree? Was there any time? Was it any time where you and Philip have any disagreement, professionally or otherwise?
Yes, that has always been the case. Look, if you're managing editor, especially at the time I was, a lot of the bus stop with you. And you have to, even if your editor is one of the soften you, editor, if I convene a meeting and I hear from all my principals, right? My lieutenants, that there is a critical decision, I tell you, everybody, thank you, and I will make that decision. When I make that decision, it's gone. And I give you an example. There was a time, there were allegations of ECOMO conniving with Charles Taylor. You remember this story, where they were taking rubble from Firestone and they were giving the man arms. And we leaked that story. That story was a critical story. Philip being the senior and visionary he was, kind of leaning on the side of how we should do it. And I got the feedback of all my lieutenants. In the end, I told the guys who would carry the story. We carried that story, they came to arrest us. Who did they arrest? Me and Philip. But he stood with me. He said, yes, they said, we went to that place. And again, it was moderating voice that made it able to release after 4 hours. Because, I told them, if you're ready for the firing squad, I'm ready. Because I am not going to entertain you guys. If you say we lie, and we had the whole dossier of what they were doing, the pictures and everything. We have pictures of the ship I had sent to these people to get confirmation of the ship. The ship was at the port, and I sent Emmanuel. Was that Emmanuel? One of those guys. Yeah, Emmanuel Na. He was our ECOMO reporter. They got that intelligence. We got that intelligence report. And we did everything to follow with the ECOMO people, but their response was that if we carry this through, then they will move on me. So I said, okay, then they will come and move. They detained me for 4 hours, me and Philip. So, I'm just giving you that point, right? But he agreed. At the end of the day, we all made a decision, and here it is. And there are instances where, you and other people agree, but he was a consummate editor. Once a decision was made in the newsroom, that was it. It was a teamwork. And I just give you one example of what it was. Many other editors, for very good reason, did not want the article to go as well because everybody knew it was a serious security risk. It was like putting all of us into the gas chamber. But I did it, and Philip stood. When we went to Elkenburg, I'm telling you, it was Philip who served as a bulwark, from those guys. And always made joke of it. I'm telling you, when Philip ready to roast you, you would not believe it. He roasted me so much, I didn't have the opportunity to do mine, But I'm telling you, it was just good sport. And if you guys don't mind, I'm not a good comedian. Let me give you a background. I did cool, we could have, the movie industry building of Liberia now, Detroit has to could have also produced some actors. Philip, one of the actors who have young actors and actresses. Philip, one of those. And I'm telling you, he was a very good stage actor. Very good stage actor, very good comedian. Let me give you a story of one of the jokes Philip used to crack in the news that just used to leave everybody rolling. He was one time assigned at the Senate, right, on Capitol Hill, and he used to cover the confirmation hearing during the due time. One of those days, one of the senators, they went for this confirmation hearing, man. The senator, everybody went in. The senator, his staff, they went and did his questions and everything, put in the folder. You know how some of them can behave. He didn't look at the question, he didn't look at the folder. When he was going, he picked up the wrong folder and went to the session for the confirmation hearing. He kept putting his hand up, for the people, for the chair to recognize him. So this time came, the chair recognized him and he got up. Mr. Nominee. Then he opened his folder. Mr. Nominee, he looked for the questions. Mr. Nominee, he kept shoving the paper. And the chair said, Mr. Senator, we're waiting for your question. Why is your question? He said, oh, somebody told my question. He said, but my man, the flow, you got the flow, and I got to say something. Then he said, Mr. Nominee, when you are confirmed in this position, will you take the post? I've been thinking about it. If you are confirmed, will you take the job?
But that's the whole thing about confirmation.
What would be the answer of the man? Yeah, that's what
it hit me like it hit many people in my circle. And when I say in my circle, many of us who practice the profession just around the same time that PMW practice, because we realize what a significant loss his passing meant. For his family, which is very important, but more importantly for those of us who work in the media. He was a towering figure. He was a constant presence when it came to the media. He was, by all measure, a consummate professional, one who was dedicated to the journalism craft. He impacted so many lives, so many journalists, and I was saying on one interview I did the day he passed that the true measure of a man is not in how much material possession you have, not how much wealth you've been able to acquire, but the kind of impact you're able to make in the lives of your fellow man. And I think by all measure, Virginia or Philip Wesseh impact in the lives of just individual journalists, it's impactful, was profound. The day he passed, Facebook was inundated with just wonderful tributes to this man and the kind of character he was, the kind of impact he made from colleagues his age to young journalists who were just emerging in the profession. They all spoke so glowingly about who he was, his personality, and just the impact he made in their lives. And I think, it is a sad time in the media because if we needed anyone to continue to be around, to continue to make the impact that PNW made, we need him in this time and age in the media, because we all agree that the media is challenged significantly. We are one of our core responsibility, one of our core objectives is to continue to shift the media landscape in a positive way, to continue to ensure that our colleagues are performing their responsibilities in a way that they're ethical in the reporting. They are independent, they're balanced, they're fair. Those are all the things we try to do. And the fact that Philip Wesseh is no longer around means that we need to work even harder, because someone who was impacting the media in that way is no longer with us. And so we mourn his loss. It's a lot for, again, like I said, the media more generally, and then Aja as well, just because of the reason I just explained. And also because I talk about him impacting lives, I can list a number of our members who, went through his tutelage, who consider him a father figure, consider him a mentor, and so, we are bereaved as an institution. And so, I just want to again express my deepest condolences to his family, to the media more generally, and just pray that the life that PNW lived will reverberate in ways that we can't even begin to imagine, through the journalists he impacted, through his media institution, the Inquirer, and the Liberian media more generally. He was also a constant presence. I mean, he was on a Tony, and he could have gotten, a lucrative job somewhere else, but he was a constant presence at the Inquirer. I mean, PNW and Inquirer were synonymous. You cannot mention Inquirer and not talk about Philip Wesseh. That's how constant a presence he was, because he was so dedicated to the media. Again, as someone who was a trained lawyer, who could have gotten, lucrative job in the government, he chose and opted to remain an Inquirer and continue to make the difference that he made. And so, we suffered a huge loss. A tiring figure that is gone, and we're so much worse off because of the loss we've suffered in his death.
All right, and we are joined by Reverend Dead and Swar. We've been talking about his reflection. That is the president of AJA, President Mason. He was reflecting on PNW's legacy. Do you have a question for him?
No, not a question per se, but just to add to what he just talked about. Philip was like a stabilizing presence in the media, and the president just spoke to that so eloquently. The presence, one thing I always tell people, we are prepared by God in obscurity. Sometimes God works on us when nobody's watching. Okay, Philip's beginning, nobody knew. It was just today that I knew that he was he does his class. He was at the head of his graduation class. I did not know that. So when people don't know you at a particular time, God is preparing you for a mission, for a task. And when that time comes, it opens up, and people begin to see what you are made of because of your consistency, your dedication, your commitment to duty. And that's what Philip was. And the president is right. And we will all miss him for different reasons, varied reasons. But one thing stands constant is that Philip stood for what was right.
Yeah.
No matter what happens. If it will cause his death, let it be. But he did not shy away from doing what the profession requires him. For instance, when in 2020, not 2020. Oh my God, it can be 2020. Yeah, when I was president in 2000, Charles Taylor closed down Star Radio and Radio Veritas and other media institutions, and the press union was in a struggle with the government of today. And Philip Inquirer Newspaper came up with a front page, a picture of this big boots crushing down on a pit, and that angered Charles Taylor so much that I became part of the whole process, because I was the president, and from their point of view, I was supporting what was going on. Of course, we were on an attack. But I bring this story to say that Philip did not run away from the responsibility to stand for press freedom in Liberia, social justice, human rights. And that newspaper headline that day, Mr. President, it threatened me too. I must say today, I was threatened. I said, wow, now we are in it for a big haul because the president would not like this. And indeed, that's how I came to face my own situation of going to jail. But the point is, Philip fought a good fight.
Yeah. I just want to take that one step. I just want to take that one step further. The point you made about the fact that he stood for what was right also spoke to the fact that he was a patriot. He was somebody who cared deeply about his country. He wanted Liberia to move in the right direction, and he was willing to risk it all, to ensure that, in speaking truth to power, whatever happened. And that's a constant of Philip Wesseh. He was constant in that way. That consistency brought respect from his foe and his friends alike, because you might not like the things he say, but you can respect the fact that he was persistent, he was consistent, because he wanted Liberia to move in the right direction. I mean, I know I've listened to him several times on in addition to what he penned, whether it was an editorial or headline. He also co-hosted the 50-50 show with T-Max. In many days, I listened to PMW offered words of wisdom to folks in the government in terms of, which direction the country needs to go. He did it in the way that was not in your face sometimes. He did it in the way, especially as PNW got older now, he became that less confrontational figure. He became like an elder person who was providing advice. And I'm hoping that, we'll have more of those stabilizing voices in our country, people who, in spite of the odds, in spite of the consequences, can continue to speak truth to power, because Liberia need those voices for us to move in the right direction.
Fair enough. I agree with you 100%. And that's where you see maturity, especially the professional maturity, and I comes with ethical standard as well. Philip had his mind made up on what was required to be done when it comes to the right thing. But he did not do it in a confrontational way about attacking personality and the rest of that. He dealt with the issues that was at bay, that was at him at the time. So even if you disagreed with Philip, you will see the essence and the efficacy in what he was talking about. So in all of your disagreement, you still respect him. And that's why professionals should be, where you have your disagreement, but you still respect the person for his advocacy, because it's based on truth and a foundational truth that you cannot run away from. And that was Philip Wesseh. And I shared this today when we had talking with Gabriel Williams, and I said when I became interested in running for the secretary generalship of the press union, Philip looked at my face and said, "Pekin, it's not your time."
You could be bored that way,
Yeah, that's Philip. And don't take it personally. He doesn't mean anything. He's just saying it. Like he said, "Pekin, it's not your time." I said, "Why?" I said, "Because give a Nagba a chance." I said, "No way. Nagba said, we'll look it out, and who wins." And after I won, Mr. President, Philip was one of my ardent, forceful advocates. He stood for what was right, whether he liked Swadeda or not. He went with what was right, and if Swadeda was right, he would stand with Swadeda, and that is the man we've lost. I mean, we're all going to miss Philip. We're going to miss him in ways that we cannot measure right now. But posterity will begin to look back and see his contributions over the years from high school. This man started this journey in journalism from high school, from the press club in Detroit, and then he graduated up to Daily Observer and on to Inquirer. So he has left a great legacy that we can follow, whether we are younger or older or middle class or what. Philip will never be forgotten, Mr. President. So I'm glad that you joined us today to discuss this iconic figure. And we're going to miss a whole lot. We're going to miss Philip. More of the time when were contesting for the presidency this time. It was against Zupon Nomo, not against Zupon Nomo, but my opponents was two of my opponents, Zupon Nomo and my former vice president, Peter Red Freeman. And Philip said, Piggy, this time I am for you. I am carrying. And he did.
He could be that bold, but he could also crack a joke. I mean, you can't be around PNW and not laugh because he's always he was a very humorous fellow. He will always be cracking jokes here and there, and so he tried to balance. Yeah, he tried to and that is how people just gravitated towards him. People just got to like PNW because one, he was professional. Two, he could be bold and serious and tell you what he wanted to say to your face, but also he could crack a joke and make people laugh, and so he was a really a rare runner individual, really rare runner.
Yeah, I mean you can't say more eloquently, Mr. President. Ellis, I know you're there, but the president myself will just have our time. We just enjoy this time because we want to really discuss Philip in a way that we knew him, because another time again, like when this presidency thing came out, when he said, so what did it begin? I'm for you. And when Philip says he was for me, Mr. President, he went all the way with the campaigning. And I sat there and said, this, what is this? This man, he will tell you if he doesn't like you, he will tell you if he likes you, and then he will go all the way to make sure you want what he says he's supporting you for. And that's what you call sincerity. Honesty in because when you are honest with people and you are sincere with people, they will see it. They will read through your words. They will see it. They see it in your body expression. The rest of that, they will know whether you are right or whether you are genuine or not. And Philip and Wesseh was an honest guy. Nobody is perfect. Don't get me wrong. People who maybe have information that we don't have will say Philip was a perfect guy. Oh, no one was a perfect, but he strived towards perfection. That's the whole thing. He strived towards it, as we can see today. It paid off. Yeah. And the message I want to glean for this, Mr. President and Ellis, is that what you do it to the best of your ability. Yeah. You're not doing it to just be our servant, but do it because you have the opportunity now to do it, because you may not have the second chance to do what you did before. Okay, to redo what you did before. Do it now so that when people see you tomorrow or see your children, your great-grandchildren will say, yes, your dad or your mom was somebody we could relate to and a trusted person. That's the life you want to live. And you said it, Mr. President, it's not what we gain for life, it's about what we give in our service to community and humanity. That's what it's about. Ellis, are you there?
Yes, I'm there, Mr. President. So with the legacy of our iconic veteran journalists who are talking about Philip N. Wesseh, we all feel saddened, yet we understand that the journalism landscape, both in Liberia and those veterans in the diaspora, they work together to forge a better press union and a better agile and a better reporter or media institution in Liberia. My question is, will you accept a proposal with the passing of Philip to begin to document the work, the journalistic work of journalists who have been in the profession even now, and they are much older, and who knows, they might not live for the next 100 years? Or do you think it would be a good idea, which is the same proposal, so that we can start taking note of those people, so that that legacy can be sealed for a future generation to see those records, where they can go and open it and read about the legacy of those people? And I know that this video we're talking about of Philip N. Wesseh is going to last for a long time, and those who are watching it now, they'll be impacted by it, especially younger journalists, those that are aspiring to be journalists. So do you think it would be a good idea for us to begin, not just Agile, but Agile in collaboration with the media institution back home or with PUL, so we can begin to start documenting the good work of these journalists that are in the profession now? So when they are no longer around, we'll have a record to show, or maybe we'll have an archive where future young journalists can go and have access and read about these people in their work and learn about an ethic and a manner or method of reporting and leading others.
Yeah, yeah, no, an excellent question, and I think you and I have had some conversation about this too, Alex, and I believe that people who blazed the trail before us, journalists in Liberia who blazed the trail before us, I believe fervently that they've not gotten their due recognition. They've not been recognized for their work in Liberia over the years. And before I comment specifically on the question you asked, I'll just say this. One of the things we intend to do at our convention this year and going forward is to begin to recognize the work of journalists who came before us. Specifically at our convention this year, we're going to be honoring three journalists. We're going to be honoring Mr. Isaac Bantu. Mr. Bantu was a long-time correspondent for the BBC. I mean, if you live in Liberia during the years of the crisis, you know the work that Mr. Bantu did. We'll also honor someone else you had on their program too, Mr. Gabriel Williams. Mr. Gabriel Williams also worked in the media for many years. He worked with Philip N at the Inquirer Newspaper. And we also intend to honor Mr. Kenneth Best. I mean, Kenneth Best is as iconic a name to the media in Liberia as Philip N is as well. So we intend as an organization to begin to give them their flowers while they are alive, and then just documenting what they were able to do as journalists over the years and record that for posterity is something that AJA will wholeheartedly welcome. And I think this is something I believe we'll discuss at our convention this year, and just looking for partners and looking for sponsors to be able to do that, so that with posterity will know, what these media personalities were able to accomplish. And many of them, look, the media in Liberia now, see what they may about the administration now and the past administration of Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. The media in Liberia now is experiencing or enjoying a level of freedom that, media in the past did not enjoy. You talk about, Remendeta, you talked about, the headline that PMW had carried in her paper and how you were afraid that the government will do something to him. Look, that was in the past, and those things happened. Journalists were harassed. They were arrested. They were jailed, and in spite of all those odds, they executed the professional responsibility without fear, without favor. So I think we need to recognize their work, and we need to applaud them for what they were able to do then, because without the shared sacrifice that they made, our country will not enjoy the level of freedom we enjoy right now. The level of free speech people enjoy right now will not be enjoying without the sacrifices of journalists before us. So I think, Alex, you couldn't have said it better. AJA will support the effort to document the work of past journalists to ensure that posterity will know that these people sacrificed, they bled, the sweat brought us to where we are today. So I agree completely. We certainly will intend to do that.